Hello?
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 So you're not coming in, huh? Let's see. I'm going to send you the co-host one. That should be the one I had sent above, but...
I have both of them open, and both of them are just saying, please wait.
Yeah, it says become the co-host. So let's try that one. And then if not, I'll just open the room and then we'll get you in there afterwards.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Yeah, sound good.
Awesome. Oh, you're still in there as an attendee though. I wonder if I can make you.
I wasn't sure which one to do.
All right. No, if not, let me see if I can make you from an attendee into a host. That works too. All right.
I have both opened because neither one was working.
All right. Well, let's go live and make it work.
Okay.
All right. Bye. Awesome! We made it live. Hello, everybody. So cool. Let's get our special host, Russ, in here because I have to thank him for sending you. So let's see. He says he's waiting for a response. Well, but there you go. We're getting there. Hello, Russ. Making it live. Love it. Hello, 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 everybody. Hop on in. Really excited to get started. Look at that. Made it.
Hello.
Headset and everything. So professional.
Right. I was hoping I could have a background so everybody can't see my messy bedroom.
You know what? We're keeping it real. And I think if I tell you I left the house this morning and I did not make my bed because it wasn't in the cards. Hello, Linda, Melanie, Juan, Carol, Alexander, and Yolita. So nice to meet you guys. So let me know what suburb you serve in the comments. We do have the comments open, so a little bit of housekeeping, I guess. We'll have Russ get set up. He's like moving to the open corner.
Yeah, I'm putting it in the corner.
I'm like, right? Like, if I tell you what my laptop is sitting on, you're like, so. Anyhow, let's dive in because it's 11:02, and one of the things I appreciate is punctual people. So I'm going to get my screen shared, and from there, we're just going to run through a lot of the questions that I oftentimes get with geographic farming and how, I built my business with it. And I don't know if I've done a deal with any of them that are on there yet. We should do one.
And I can't see everybody yet, but I just, since we're starting, I wanted to kind of say hello to everybody. Obviously, if you're here, you got an invite from either Janine or myself via email, Facebook, one of those. So thank you very much for attending. I'm super excited about it. I've been through an in-person presentation from Janine for this, and from a lender's perspective, it's super amazing. I don't even know, how these tricks work, but I have heard from realtors since I've started that mailers and farming is a waste of money because of postcards and all this stuff. And I truly believe after learning what has Janine taught, that it's really the process. And a lot of realtors don't choose the right ones and don't figure out the profitability of it and their margins. And there's so many simple little tricks, I think, that Janine has that really work. And a big part of it is follow through that she'll get to as well. So thank you for everybody for joining.
Yeah, well, thank you for bringing them all together. We got Oak Park in the house, Buffalo Grove, and Plainfield. Love it. So, and use the comments. Let me know. I'm a big believer in let me talk with you as opposed to let me talk to you, right? So I always say it's really helpful if you actually want to get your own MLS up and running and you're going to do exactly the steps with me as we go through it. We will have a replay. You're going to get the replay. You can go and just watch and then do it on your own. But oftentimes I find people that want to go back to it later, they kind of get busy and forget. So if you just want to, go ahead and walk through the steps and you have an area already in mind that you're thinking, oh, I think I want to start farming, by all means, check it out. But you shout out through us. Thanks so much for bringing those people together. The room is steadily growing. And, let me just, like I said, say thank you. So Princeton Mortgage is currently the lending firm you are with. How long have you been with them?
I've been with Princeton just under 2 years.
Nice. See, and personally, let me know what you guys love on a lender when it comes to doing deals with them, because I'm an agent just as much as you are. And I can tell you what I love most about lenders is if I get a weekly update, like this little thing, simple thing. So let Russ know, what is it that you absolutely love from a lender perspective? What is that one thing a lender does where you will just say, this is amazing? Like I said, for me, it's my weekly lender update. Just something simple like, hey, files and underwriting. Why? Because now I can go back to my buyers and say, hey, just wanted you to know, files and underwriting, we're looking all good, right? It's another touch point that they know I'm on top of everything. So use the comments, let him know as a thank you, because this will massively help him also understand where, he can serve us agents better. Did I do good on that one, Russ?
I think so. And then, last thing to tie it together with this presentation is one thing I try to do is not cold call a bunch of agents to introduce myself and ask for business. I really try to, add value and be a part of everybody's business and to really help agents grow and not ask for things. That's why I'm a member of the Main Street Organization of Realtors and the Toastmasters within that, on the YPN organization in the Main Street, and the women's organization I just joined too. So it's things like that I'm trying to really be involved and be almost like coworkers with all the agents that I know, and everybody kind of can grow together and be comfortable with each other, and instead of cold calling and trying to sell each other things, so.
Love it. Well, maybe there's some more trainings in the future. All right, well, let's dive in. 11:07. So welcome to this training. It's the underground playbook to discovering your highly profitable geographic farm that will lead to sellers calling you and build your personal brand beyond your wildest dreams. Pretty big claims there, I know. But that's essentially what I've done with my business. I have people in my geographic farm sending me an email that goes something like this. Hey Janine, we're thinking about selling in the near future and I'm wondering if you can come over to tell us how much our house is worth. And I don't know about you, but every time I get a message like that, I'm just like, oh my gosh, thank God. I didn't have to make another phone call, right? I don't cold call. It's just not something that's in my nature that I don't answer. Well, I do answer calls that I don't know, but I really don't like it. So first up, thanks for taking action. One word of advice, just picking a farm alone is not enough. I want you to really know the details on the farm, or at least be willing to learn what is there, and your business will continue to grow. I want you to become the hyperlocal agent expert in your neighborhood, because that really goes a long way. So for those of you guys that don't know me and you're wondering, why do I even listen to this agent? I am a multiple best-selling author on Amazon. I do have 2 Amazon best-selling books on there. One of them is Success with Real Estate Mailers. So I built my geographic farm with mailers extensively. At the moment, I do mail about 5,000 pieces to my geographic farm, which is 60192. And it's been the best thing since. I don't have to hunt down business. I don't have to drive all over the place. Most of my listings are sitting in North Hoffman. So if you're looking for somebody wanting to front high schools, make sure you reach out. But it's just one of those things where, once you become hyper local, amazing things just start to happen. And I really would like to share that with as many agents as possible. So
and I just want to cut in real quick. I encourage everybody to check out her books, but as a touch to this webinar, and to thank everybody for joining, we're going to randomly pick towards the end or afterwards, depending on how the list is. I bought 3 of Janine's books from Amazon, and then we're going to pick three people who showed up, and I'll mail them out to your house once we get your
No way. Oh, I like that touch. That was a surprise curveball. See, and this is why like doing those live is like so much more fun. I like that one. Well, thanks for the book support, first of all. And now that you have, a little bit of skin in the game, peeps, let's start using those comments and just say thank you, first of all, to Russ and start there, right? That's awesome. All right. So let's go ahead on today's agenda. 5 tips to choose your farm, the T word every farmer knows, the 7 steps to finding your profitable farm, and at the end of this, yes, if you stick through all the way, I promise I talk fast, you're going to be out of here by 12. I have a free gift that I will claim will literally solve all your real estate problems. Pretty mighty claim. Stick around to the end and I'm going to let you know. So let's talk a little bit first about the proof is in the pudding, right? Want to be like this agent. So Andrew is a brand new agent. He's on my team, just joined at the end of last year. He did send his very first mailer with me and received a lead immediately. Okay, and the reason I have it in here right off the bat is because everybody heard the stigma of, oh, you have to mail for 12 months and all of that. It's baloney. Okay, it's simply not true. You do not have to waste months and months of working a farm without a return. The reason I like to have this one pointed out first is because you have so many times mailing companies trying to lock you into 12 months contracts. And anybody feel like, there's no other profession than the real estate industry of people trying to sell us into things, right? So this one is just an example of you can have results fast. And like I said, he's brand new farm. And it worked out just great because he knew exactly who was in his farm, who was he mailing to, what was the, the audience, the message, and he crushed it with it. So let's dive into it. And this is not just for new agents. This is also for seasoned agents. I actually have one agent within my company. She's been doing it for like 23 years. And one of the conversations I just had with her was, oh my gosh, you just ignited a new fire inside of me that I didn't think I had anymore. So if you are a seasoned agent and you're just kind of ready to, do some of the farming now, this is perfect. So tip number 1, work where you live or places you know. And the reason I have this in here is because obviously, trying to get to know an area is super important. Like you really need to become the expert in the neighborhood. How many of you guys know, like I know I've seen a couple comments on here for Oak Park. Now, Oak Park is pretty big. I'm going to go. I had one condo listing there and I didn't know left from right. Okay, I will totally admit that. But if I'm considering moving to Oak Park, I got to know that Oak Park has a good side of the street and Oak Park has a bad side of the street. knew? Not me. But becoming that super go-to agent is something that people really are seeking out to. Buffalo Grove, right? Man, the schools in Buffalo Grove, all over the place. So if you are that expert in Buffalo Grove, knowing, hey, this street here is right the dividing line between this high school and this high school, let's see what home prices do, right? If you become an expert in that area, you're going to have people coming to you. And it's really, really cool what starts to happen. So if you don't work where you live, at least be willing to work at a place where you're willing to learn, right? So sometimes I always get the question of, well, I want to farm this area, but I don't live there. Is that okay? Absolutely. As long as you care and you demonstrate that you care about the neighborhood, people will love you for it. So don't worry too much about where you live. Tip number 2, calculating the neighborhood turnover rate. Yes, we're talking math, and don't worry, we're going to talk math later today in a very simple, 2 equations, and that's all you need. And then I'm going to give that to you as well. I have an entire handout for this too, which I believe I have in that email that you received. I hope you got that email. It was a worksheet. But this is really where we want to dive into it, because just you're going to be amazed how steady numbers can be in a geographic farm. You would think, Mail, how many houses sell? Maybe 5 a year, maybe 50 the next. Oh no, it is pretty steady, and we're going to talk all about that. Tip number 3, analyze the competition. Yes. So fun fact, actually I can tell you 2 stories at this point. I've had, at the last presentation I did live, Russell was actually sitting in, I had a neighbor send me a screenshot of a young agent, and he started to hand out door hangers. So my neighbor sent me a message and said, hey, look, somebody's trying to get in on your hood. And I'm like, oh boy. So I got to give it to the agent. He's got hustle, right? He's willing to do something. What he didn't do is research. If he'd done research, I'm not saying that I have the lockdown on my neighborhood, but believe me, there's another agent in my neighborhood that is also quite active in there. So now not only is he looking at one agent doing a lot of business in there, he's looking at 2 agents doing a lot of business in there. And what he's struggling with is going to be an uphill battle trying to get in front of 2 already established people. Now, on top of those 2 that are already there, there's a 3rd person in there that is quite active based on relationships that she's building inside the neighborhood. So now there's technically 3 people. And if you have all that competition and you've just spent 3 hours walking door hangers in an area that's already heavily, farmed by people, you really probably should have put those efforts elsewhere to be a little bit more profitable. And that's really at the end of the day what I'm here to share with you. How do you find out where the competition is, and to make sure you're not wasting efforts in a field that's already farmed. And if it's only one person that's farming it, don't worry, there's room for more. I am not a, having the lockdown on a farm kind of person. There's always, somebody that wishes for another cup of tea. Be like, I don't like this person, but I would rather have this person. I don't like this gal, I'd rather have a guy. I don't like this old, lady, I rather want to have a young person. Whichever one it is, there is always room for somebody's cup of tea. But eventually, if you already have a couple, flavors of tea on the menu, you really don't necessarily need another one. So I hope this kind of helped. Let me know in the comments too if this is helpful, just so I can make sure you're getting something out of it. And then tip number 4, keep your pricing competitive. Yes, this is one of my favorite ones. And we're not talking about your commission. Okay, most of you probably thought about, okay, now we're talking about commission. No, we're not. It has nothing to do with commission. This is all based on keeping your pricing competitive, meaning the price of the home. I get it. Right now, it's really tough to have pricing conversations, because you're like, oh, your neighbor sold for $50,000 more, but you're not going to get that anymore because our market stopped. So, being realistic is one of those things that is right now a fine balance, right? We don't want to tell them, no, we're crushing your dream. You can't get that much for your house anymore. But we can't set ourselves up for failure, especially in our geographic farm. What if we have that listing that sits for 180 days? Yes, we're going back to this market, believe it or not, right? Do you want to be viewed as an agent that simply is not getting listings moved? No. So don't think you will just, push the price high to get the listing, because you will shoot yourself in the foot, especially in your geographic farm. So just stay true to yourself, and at the end of the day, the house will sell what the house will sell for. So go where the inventory is. That's the next one. We're going to talk about it. I have a system that I call a blue pricing strategy. I like it for geographic farming for the fact that you have a bigger buyer pool in a certain price range. Now, how many of you guys say, oh my gosh, I want to do luxury, right? I will tell you, I have a $1.1 million listing coming up in Sleepy Hollow, 10-car garage. I am absolutely terrified at the amount of money I will need to invest in order to get this listing up and running to my standards. And do I still do some of it at $300,000 to $400,000, which is about my average price point? Absolutely. But I do it a lot less at scale. So there is a difference. So for those of you guys saying, oh my gosh, you know what, fine, let's screw the luxury, let's go into the average American house sizes, this is perfect. Mind where your buyer pool is, okay? This is a super, super helpful thing every time you think, oh, I want to do $1 million listings, or it looks so fun to sell a $5 million house, right? It's like, yes, it looks fun, but remember, there is cost involved. So congratulations, you made it through the first part. Who's ready for the next step? And remember, I wasn't going to talk to you guys, I was going to talk with you. So thanks, Yolita, for engaging. Thanks, Linda, for the count of Oak Park people. Love it. Yes, Melanie is awake. Love it, love it, love it. There you go. Awesome. All right. So let's dive in further. For those of you that are, fairly familiar, I want you to introduce Rosie Gonzalez to you. Rosie Gonzalez has the lockdown on Brookfield. Man, if I say lockdown, she has the lockdown. She does sell 6 times more homes in one town than her closest competitor. Now, after building that momentum, you try and go head to head with Rosie. Like, this is just insane. Last year, she sold 72 homes. Her closest competitor sold 12. 72 homes sold by Rosie, 12 by agent number B. Now, who's going to be that agent that you're going to hire? That's going to be Rosie if you live in that town. And it's just one of those things where it's mind-blowing what can happen if you do geographic farming for just a little bit more than 2 months. Okay? It is a momentum building activity. I've been in my farm at this point for 7 years, and it's been the best I ever done. There's no other lead generation source that has such a rollover momentum. If I stopped everything I'm doing today, I don't know, COVID hit, right? COVID, I'm down for the count, 30 days, can't do anything. I would not need to worry about having business coming my way. And that alone in today's day and age is a really, really big reassurance. So a little backstory, I'm a mom of 2 little ones. I got a 3-year-old and a just turned 10-year-old. And life is busy. If you guys have kids, let me know in the comments, but you guys know back to school craziness. All of a sudden they have sports and they do this and they do that. And life gets in the way before I'm able to, make my contacts, do all of this. So what I found is that geographic farming can be very, very forgiving to people when life gets in the way. Okay. Say, Melanie, 3 kids, 20, 17, and 15. I heard bigger kids, bigger problems. So can't wait to find out. So let's talk a little bit about how to calculate your neighborhood turnover rate. And before we do, why is my neighborhood turnover rate important? So this is where I typically want to, really find the farming analogy. Geographic farming is not called farming for no reason, right? Geographic farming is because you have, just like a farmer has a field, you have a field of your own, your geographic farm. You need to tend it, you need to water it, you need to weed it, you need to make sure the sun shines on it, right? Everything is happy hunky-dory in your farm. And it's about the same with your farm. So when you go out and you select that piece of real estate, right, that piece of geographic farm, you want to make sure you pick a very, very good one. Anybody here Ghostbuster fans? Seen the latest Ghostbuster one? Like, no, maybe? We'll see. Let me know in the comments. But the latest Ghostbuster one had the dirt farmer in it, right? The dirt farmer was the one that sat on the farm and the fields where nothing ever grew. And obviously, we don't want to be that person. You do not want to be a dirt farmer. You want to be a wildly profitable farmer, which is obviously why you're here. And finding that farm is important. So I want you to introduce you to Melanie. She's been an amazing member inside my free Facebook group, the Hyperlocal Real Estate Agent. And she went all in on sending mailers to a specific area near her office that no one was farming according to your managing or to her managing broker, which, by the way, talk to your managing broker about geographic farms. You'd be surprised that sometimes they will point you in the right direction of where to look and where to start. Now, the result, her mailer got her several CMA requests at a price point of 1.3 million. And she's been Rookie of the Year. She just started. Like I said, she's, I think, on year number 2, and she's crushing it. So I also have the screenshots here, so you can see I'm not just making this up. This one was one of her posts she just did inside the my coaching group. She's like, I know most of us, if not all, put on our mailers, do not scan unless you're ready for sticker shock. Well, once again, I'm the one with sticker shock on my CMA leads. And Janine Sasso introduced me to a printer guy. He does such an amazing job. Received 2 seller leads for over $1 million each. Shut the front door. So, and she's in North Carolina, so different state, but there you have the proof. How cool is this, right? How many of you guys would say, like, oh my God, I would love to send out a mailer and get leads? Like, that is the goal, right? So we want to really make sure that you pick a geographic farm that will propel your business forward. Again, don't be a dirt farmer. Find a highly profitable farm. And once you do, you're going to realize, I'm actually able to determine like really good numbers for your business. You can estimate the total sales of the year. You can figure out what's the average price of a home. You can project the revenue you get from each and every listing. We're not going from 160 all the way up to like 800,000. It's fairly even. You can also figure out the number of leads you will need to meet your sales target. You can project your cost of lead generation. And I don't know about you, but I like to plan and I don't like surprises, especially when tax season rolls around. So this is just another reason why I find geographic farming is extremely predictable and safe. So then we want to create a well-informed and insightful pre-listing presentation using your detailed knowledge on the local market. Again, I just told you guys I know nothing about Oak Park, right? So for me to get my hands on a detailed, report, which side of the street is good, which side of the street is bad, whatever you want to call it, that would be so helpful, okay? So if you have insights into the marketplace, like, guys, Zillow can't do that. Redfin can't really do that, right? They're great in what they do on an online website, but at the actual information, it needs real people. And that's the part that we need to understand. Like, that's why you and I still have a job. How many times did we have like instant cash offers thrown at our sellers? And yet here we are, we still all own our businesses. We're not going to get replaced because the human touch is something that no system can replicate. So don't worry, your job's safe. All right. So the other thing you see is low neighborhood turnovers. It might suggest that people tend to hold onto their properties, and you should be a little careful about choosing those areas. One of the examples I can give you, for example, is Schaumburg. Anybody familiar with Schaumburg? Probably, right? So what you have is, I forgot the name, Essex Club. Everybody's familiar with the, high-end development in Schaumburg, Essex Club. If not, that's okay too. You haven't missed too much. But the development in itself is so thought after that you would think, oh, a lot of houses sell. Well, actually, they don't. Reason being is many times things transfer in the, subdivision before it ever hits the market. because people get mail all the time. I have a buyer looking in that subdivision. Buyers themselves sending things out, wanting to be in the subdivision. Another subdivision I found that is very, very similar is Bloomfield Club in Bloomingdale. So if you're looking at these subdivisions, be mindful that there's a lot of like behind the scenes talk. So if you live in one of those, then you absolutely know what I'm talking about. You attend a board meeting and you're like, oh yeah, I know that she's been thinking about selling, and all of a sudden, oh, I have friends looking, and yada, yada, yada. It goes around, the house never hit the market, and it transferred. So that's just an interesting one to be aware of. And of course, then there's the competition. There's always competition. So here's another one. This one is Bethany. She found me in 2020 and has been an active member inside the Hyperlocal agent. And in August of 2020, she decided to go deeper into her community and add mailer marketing to her skill set. So she sent me her mailers. We worked on getting them tweaked. And the result was that her $3,000 investment turned into $36,000 in commissions within 1 year. Like, she just sent me a message actually a couple days ago, and she's like, oh my gosh, look at this. That's the neighbor down the street that sent her a message. Like, hey, we're looking to upgrade, right? We would like you to come over. She was also just featured on House Hunters. So she is in Columbus, Ohio. So if you are a House Hunter watcher, you might have seen her there. And yeah, so it's just one of those other, inspirational stories where I'm sharing these because at the end of the day, I got really tired of people telling me you can't have it all. You can't be a mom, raise a family, and be a successful agent. And I called baloney. I'm like, yes, I can. Watch me do it. She just had baby number 2. That's her little boy. Super cute. And it's all possible. All right. So let's dive into 7 steps to calculating your neighborhood turnover with the MLS. And the reason I said, if you want to open up your MLS in itself, like you can, and you're going to follow along as I go right now. I'm going to try and make screen sharing happening from one screen to the other. So bear with me. It might be a little choppy on this one, but I found that most people get the most out of it if I really bounce back and forth. Okay, like I literally will show you step by step by step how we're going to get all of this selected. So within the next 30 minutes, you have an ideal farm that you can go after, and we'll make it fun. Sound good? Everybody,
and remember, Janine is going to send out the recording. So as you follow along, remember that you can watch it back and go through it later when you want to review it and kind of work the system through it again. So
absolutely, work that system through. So let's see how I'm going to get all of this shared. We're going to start, let's see, can I share my screen, like my entire screen? I think so. Oh, I can. All right, that's going to be interesting. Let's see. Might look funny for a second here. Ah, look at that. Hello, everybody. It's a million Russells and Janines. Don't freak out. All right, so right here, I told you guys, select the subdivision. Anybody has a subdivision in mind right now, let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to take your subdivision as the example. If not, I will simply use mine. So let's see. Yolita says my screen is black. I hope it was just because I started screen sharing. Let's see. Brook Estate, Liberty Grove, and Plainfield. I do have full MRET access in Plainfield, right? I believe. I hope so. That's our Russ, you know a lot more about MRET. It extends all the way down to Plainfield, right? Yes.
I don't know, actually. That's a good question. Sorry.
Melanie, is MRET your MLS? Let me know. Yes. Okay, perfect. Can you give me an address in Liberty Grove and Plainfield that I can plug in? I'm just going to copy and paste it. There you go. 1510 Freedom Way. Thank you. Oh, 15100. Okay. So first things first, everybody thinks I want to farm. Where do I start? I start in my MLS. Wrong. First things first, we want to start at a site called eddm.usps.com, which is the website from the United States Postal Service, with a service called Every Door Direct Mail. And you see here, I have that one open, Freedom Way, Plainfield. All right, so I'm gonna plug this one in. For whatever reason, I will say it doesn't work in Google Chrome for me. So I use Safari on this one. So just plugged in this address. So let's hit the search button and it will come up with the route that this home is located on. Okay, so here we are in Plainfield. Everybody, welcome to Plainfield. So what we want to do is we want to hover over where this little, star is. And you see right here, what gets highlighted is this subdivision right here in purple and then a subdivision over there. Now, question is this all the estate or are we looking at two separate subdivisions? I gotta have to go back to the crazy screen to find out from Melanie if this is one subdivision. Is that Liberty Grove or is that like more than one? Let me know. I know, sorry for the crazy screen. Like, I just, maybe I can pull up the comments on the, on my phone so I can stop.
One subdivision.
Perfect. Well, looks like we got an easy one then on this one. So all of this here is the subdivision we're looking at. Now you might say, but the stuff down there is also part of the subdivision. In case it is, this is a separate route and we would need to target it with a separate route. But right now, what I can see here. So if I look at this subdivision, I see that there is residential. I want to make sure it's residential only. I don't care about business addresses. I see that there is 631 residential addresses only. In order for me to put the postage on there, it would cost me $118 in postage only. Now, this is important information, okay? Now I know how many homes. How many of you have struggled before to figure out how many homes are in a subdivision to figure out a turnover rate? I know I've had my fair amount of struggles. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can find my own webinar. And then I'm going to open up a comment. There you go. See, it pays to put yourself on somebody else's webinar. All right. So 631 addresses. Now I can also see here how the streets are configured. Okay, and this is important information. So next up, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and figure out in the MLS, what's next. Everybody has MLS access, I hope. Let me go and hop over to the comments. Sorry, I have to go back one more time. Yes. Oh, it's actually on the other side of Lockport Street. Okay, can I stick with the one I can go across the street? Do you want me to go across the street, Melanie? I can go across the street. Let's see. Oops. Let's see. There you go. Do you want me to go across the street? You tell me. I'm still loading the comments on my phone, so no problem either way. All right. Well, you know what? Let's just stick with the little larger one then. I have a little bit more homes on that one. So let's go on this one. And it had the school in there too, which I think will be pretty nice. So let's see. So this one here is our area we're looking for. So let's head on over into the MLS. So whatever your MLS looks like, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and find out how many properties have sold in there. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna find a way to put my phone up. Yeah, let me put it down there. All right. So everybody should hopefully see my MLS screen. Yes, we're good. Thumbs up. So let's get the address typed in here. Perfect. Right, yes, it is across the street. See, the other map was not as accurate. All right, so this one here is the one we selected, however, just to keep it easy. So let's get our hexagon out and start drawing. Everybody should know how to do it. If not, Emerald has amazing classes that I highly recommend people take because they're pretty good. But this is roughly what our, mailing route looks like. Now, the first thing I see when people look at routes is that they try and follow the subdivision outline. Like the route will not always match the subdivision outline, okay? So example, if we take this one, let's go across the street, for example, and if I go across the street, you see that this street right here is also part of that route that I would target. So I would want to know to really find out a true turnover rate, okay, would it make sense? So always be mindful about your cost first, and then we consider the area. And the reason I started backwards is because yes, geographic farming does require money. Geographic farming is not free. And that is just another reason why it's so important that you're very, very diligent about making your dollars count as much as possible, okay? All right, so right now there are 6 active listings. Should we look if Melanie got the lockdown on all of them? Not yet, maybe? All right. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna see what has closed, and then we're gonna add a couple of fields in here. So one of the ones we want to put in is your closed date. All right. So closed date, obviously there's a lot of them that closed, but we want to be a little bit more specific. So let's just assume we want to know how are we looking year to date? How many homes have turned over year to date, okay? January 1st through 8/23 today. There's 21 homes. Let me find a pen. You want to get really fancy with a pen and paper, okay? And you want to jot down some of those numbers. So your 2022, ones are 21 homes to date. Remember, we are not finished yet. All right, now let's go ahead and find out what happened for 2021. And that one we're going to take back all the way, obviously, through the end of December. So you can see here a total of 47 homes have sold, which actually seems to be a really good turnover rate across the street, Melanie. So we'll work on that one. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. 631 homes. Okay, just want to make sure we got that number written down too. So will you agree that 2021 was probably not an average year, right? So let's go back a little. 2020. What did 2020 have in store? 2020, we had 33 homes that were actually sold. All right. And we agree 2020 was also not a regular year, right? So let's go back a little bit more and just kind of check out what happened in 2019. And in 2019, we had 36 homes sell. So last year was their highest selling year to date, by the way, which is not really surprising. So now that you kind of see a lot of that, you can then go back and figure out, okay, now that I know how many homes have sold, you can start predicting things a lot better. Right now, we are 21 homes that have sold in that area to date. Do you think that there's probably still more transaction in that area? Absolutely. 21 is still way below the 33 and the 36. And just so you see like how predictable it gets, I want to show you the 2018 numbers. So for 2018, you see we're at 29 homes, okay? So we still have some transactions left in there, which is awesome to know, first of all. So now that we have those, what's our next step? Let's go back to our slides. We selected a subdivision. We went to eddm.usps.com. We selected the route. We know that there is now 631 homes in that subdivision, and we put down that number. We went into our MLS. We drew a boundary map based on the EDDM route. We selected the close range for the last 12 months. Just a general calendar year, we'll do too. And we did it for a few years to get the trends. We got the results, jotted them down. Now I want to know if there is an agent that's dominating that area. All right. So how do I do that? I've attended one of these really cool classes with MRED, and I had an awesome instructor. Many of you guys know her, Carrie Jo Little. And Russ, I think you might actually see her later if you're going to Propel the event. So tell her I gave her a shout out on here.
I will. Carrie's everywhere.
She is. And what she said was, what I wanted to do is put a report in my MLS, and I want to show you where. All right, let me show that list. And that report, close that. Had in here, you need to be on a list view, I think, had on there modify columns, okay? And then you can edit the columns and get it right for what you want. And when you do, you can save it as a custom report. So as you can see, I already have one here called Dominating Agent. So what I want to do is obviously I want to put the list broker name all the way in the front. And if I start filtering it for list broker, what I can do is I can see if somebody's name pops up over and over and over. So let's see what we got. So far, if I'm just looking here, it looks like a lot of, like here, there's Karen Morposon. She's had 2 in there. So maybe that's a name I want to kind of, remember. Marla Schneider, she had 2 in there too. Mike Godwin, also Goodwin, also 2. Okay. Remember, we're going to go back. We want to see, was that just like, hey, they sold their grandma's house and their cousin's house? Or is that something, where you're like, oh, like, no, they are in there all the time. So again, let's go back to the other year. This one was 2020. Here's our report, Dominating Agent, already filtered by alphabet. Ellen Williams, 2. We've had Nancy Leggett, 2. And Terry Swiderski, 2. Again, completely new names, by the way. Do you notice that? Yeah, Marla is from Northbrook. Maybe it was her team member. I don't know if she has a team or not, but that is quite the way. So, all right. I don't see anything yet where I would say, oh my gosh, yes, this name keeps popping up over and over and over. I don't think I want to go in there. So next up, 2021. Let's look there. For 2021, by the way, we had chat pop up here and there, so might be worth looking into. And you see how you just become really, really good at looking things, right? Jeff Steiner had 2 here. Michael Lenz was in there before. All right, so I'm not seeing anything where I would say, oh my gosh, this is like a lot of competition. So personally, I would probably see if somebody talks about, that area specifically all the time, go look at them on social media, like be a stalker, right? If you see that it was just like, oh, it just happened that they had another one, it happens, but there's nothing there where it's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, like all of the listings are hers, for example.
Sometimes it's pretty clear. I remember when you did your demo the other day, it was the same name 6 times in a row, and then the year before, same thing, 5-6 times in a row, and then then you can tell they got something going on there.
Correct. Do you guys want to see mine just for the heck of it, so you know what Russ is talking about? Let me know. Yes. Okay. Let's do that. Clear the polygon, and I'll take you into my geographic farm. Now it's loading, thinking. Come on. Try again. Still loading. All right, let's start over. Let's start over. Sometimes I find the map has a hard time loading. So same steps as before, right? You're just kind of looking. I know my boundaries, so I'm going to skip the EDDM part right now. There you go. Let's plug in an address. All right, again, yes, I'm drawing a rectangle. No, you should not be, oops. You should follow your outline, but mine is fairly square, hence I'm drawing a rectangle. All right, let's see. Oh. There a little bit, apply, area. Again, I'm in Hoffman Estates. Making sure I'll take all of the fancy ones out for Inverness. All right, and then let's go back for our closing date. Closed. And let's see. It's January, and then we'll go back to December, just so you have a full year's worth of things. Okay. And then obviously we'll add in there the closed ones. All right. So as of right now, you can already see there's 197 properties on there and quite a bit. Now let's head over to the list. We don't need the map. List view. And then we'll go to dominating agent. All right, let's filter it. And then we'll start scrolling through. So you see here, Andy Hausman had 2, Becky had 2, Kathy Beturn had 3, Dan Bergman 2, Klausing 2, Dave Lemper had 3. Oh, look, yours truly. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 listings on that one. Let's keep going. All right, so far nothing crazy. Peter Lee, 3. Sarah Leonard, 4. Oh, look, there's another one. So now if you're wondering who else is very active in my farm, huge shout out to Terry Hunt. Admire her and her business skills. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So as you can see, there is already 2 people in there that are extremely active. Now you understand why I feel really, really bad for this poor guy who handed out door hangers for, you know, hours and hours on a Saturday, and he's now like facing that uphill battle, right? So knowing that, you can really leverage your time so much better. And again, remember, you're somebody's cup of tea. I'm highly competitive, hence, you know, I love to have somebody in front of me that is, you know, doing so much better, obviously 3 listings better, because now I get to chase somebody, right? It's the whole principle of how does a runner become more or faster. It's simply by, let's see, how do I stop that share? Yeah, stop sharing. Simply by chasing somebody that's faster. So that is just one of the ways that, you know, you can do it. So now you saw the how to find out if there's an agent dominating. And then from there, we're just going to start calculating the turnover rate. So let's go back to our Plainfield one. Okay, let's bring it back to Melanie. We had 631 homes total, and we have the turnover rate from 2022 to date, 2021, 2020, 2019. So we can now start calculating that. So how do you calculate it? So really easy, okay? The number of homes that sold divided by the total number of homes in the subdivision will give you the turnover rate. So let me get a calculator out because I'm really bad at math without it. And we had 36 homes sell in 2019, okay? So 36. And the route itself has 631 homes that we found out, which now gives us a turnover rate of 0.057, again, times 100, right? We want to make sure we get the percentages. And we are at 5.7% turnover rate. What's your ideal turnover rate? We're looking ideally for 6% or more. We've had a little bit of a harder time with it with COVID, that even 5% will be pretty good. So let's get the other one calculated. 33 homes in 2020 and 631 homes total. That gives us a turnover rate of 5.2%. Let's talk last year's numbers, 47 homes. So there was a good spike in there. Now, if that is my geographic farm, I would obviously want to kind of find out what prompted it. And I don't know anything about the house. I kind of looked a little bit about the, pricing. Are those people upsizing? Was that the upsizing trend where everybody is like, let's go bigger? Or was that the trend of like, we have this huge house, everybody wants huge houses, let's capitalize in it and sell it and downsize? I don't know. So that's something for you to figure out, Melanie. So we got 47 in 2021 and 631 homes in the neighborhood. So we were at 7.4 for 2021. And then remember, this year is still not complete, so I wouldn't completely count it, but you have a really good trend here to follow and just kind of watch. So this was a good one for sure. You're very welcome. So hopefully this was helpful. And let me go back to the slides. And we're going to finish up. We're almost done. Very helpful. Loved it. Awesome. That's the way it's supposed to be. I hate webinars that are not helpful, where you get off and you're like, that was a waste of an hour. I hope this was not a waste of your hour. So, let's go back. I'll show you right here. As you can see, that's the formula, the total number of homes divided by the total number of homes sold. Right here, homes sold, total number of homes is your turnover rate.
You're not sharing if you're trying to.
Oh, you know what? Okay. Ta-da! Now you got it. There you go. Okay. So there you have it. This one here is your formula. Homes sold divided by number of total homes in the subdivision is your turnover rate times 100. So you have the percentage. Super easy, right? So here's a couple things I want to share with you. Those are actual screenshots from people that I've received in my farm, in case you're still wondering. That sounds all great. Predictability is awesome, especially, when everything is going haywire these days. I like certainty and I like predictability. Those are a couple snapshots of posts that I've received. And it says it took 3 minutes after the video posted that I got a message from a neighbor. They would be represented when they are selling in the spring and buying something larger. Double whammy, right? There's another one. Hey, Janine, I live in the neighborhood. My youngest daughter is looking for a townhome. Say what? I just got a buyer out of my geographic farm. No way. Yes, you will get buyer leads. So I don't think she can afford anything around NoHo. Her lease ends in November, so not sure when should we begin looking, right? Just getting conversational messages. Another one, hey Janine, so I wanted to reach out to you in regards to some housing questions. We're looking for something bigger and selling our current home. We're aiming for this coming spring and by summer for sure. We're working with our own bank, but we're trying to take this next month or so to finish stuff up. We want to work with you if you are interested. When the time comes this coming spring, I can get into more details. If you are interested with working with us, when was the last time somebody asked you, are you interested to work with me? I feel like, sometimes people forget that I don't have to say yes to working with you. Like, this is one of those things where being hyperlocal can really, really help you put this exclusivity back in front of the customer, right? Who do you use to send your postcards, and are there specific cards that work best? Our neighborhood updates, just market snapshots, have been performing like gangbusters on it. Especially right now with all the prices. Everybody's like looking at them like, I can't believe the neighbor's house sold for this much, right? So those have been performing amazing. I have a local printing company that I partnered with. I always recommend look for local printing companies first. because they will also have attention to detail to make sure that there's no typos on your cards, as opposed to things like Canva or Vistaprint that are just simply machine generated and you like feed them through. So I like local printers a lot better for that reason. So
But
then
you do design many of your cards on Canva, though, correct?
I design all my cards on Canva. There is not a card I don't design, for the fact that I'm very picky on.
You just don't use their printing service. You use the local. Once you design it and have that PDF or whatever it is, then you take it.
Correct. Yep, love Canva and everything about it. So in case you're still wondering, well, Janine, that's great. It worked for you, but I don't think it's going to work for me. I have this entire, slide right here showcasing to you actually. Terry is one of them. I'm beyond excited. She received a call from that first mailer that hit on Saturday. Mr. Seller wants to sell his house, his mother's house in the same neighborhood, and buy one that they can all live in together. What? My appointment to see both houses is next Tuesday. Then Melanie, you already heard from her. She got another seller lead today from my second farm. This one is what they call the bread and butter homes, up to 300,000. They pretty, sell quickly. Here's one for George. He got a new listing today for 885 from Neighborhood Marketing Flyer. That's the one I just referred to, from the mailer clinic. And we had another one here. My first mailer hit the mailbox on Saturday. 6 CMAs were already sent. Emailed each one of them now to set up a follow-up. And for those of you who are saying, oh my gosh, it sounds amazing, I also want to keep it real. This one is my post. I had a seller lead come in July 20th, 2022, or 2020. And in March of 23, I finally got to sit down with them. Yes, it took almost 2 years, but I got the listing, I got it listed, and I got it sold. And at the end of the day, my follow-up with them was a card, and then I sent them a card or a letter, which is like 50 cents or 60 cents a month. That was my follow-up. Okay, so I invested less than $18 to make a whole bunch more. I think we sold at 400,000. So you do the math on that one. And is it worth it? Absolutely. All right, so what's next? I promised you a big bonus, right? You can obviously browse through various subdivisions and start calculating. I will tell you, I get it. Calculating neighborhood turnover rate is not the most exciting activity. Just, put on some good music and just get it banked out. It's just very important, right? Don't be a dirt farmer. I think I'm going to start coining that phrase. Don't be the dirt farmer. What comes next is, like I said, the fun part, right? The creative way, the newsletters, the postcards, the guides, whatever you want to do is really, it's up to you. And I do release a quarterly marketing newsletter for agents. I do own the Hyperlocal Agent, which is just online. Russ, I think, posted a link on there. So that link is giving you to the newsletter. It's a free newsletter. I talk about video marketing in it. I talk about postcards in it, events, give you a little bit of, I'm not a blogger, but I literally will write 2 paragraphs of what I see happening or what you might want to, consider, be aware of, whichever not. Feel free to grab a free copy. And huge shout out to you, Russ. This was awesome. So thanks for having me and, getting me in front of your people and just in general, having some fun today.
Yeah, thank you so much for everything. I think this is so valuable for so many realtors, because I think mailers and farming generally get a bad name because of ignorance, and not in a bad way. It's just, I think, probably, correct me if I'm wrong, if most inexperienced realtors would set up a farm, maybe they're doing the EDDM and just picking a neighborhood that's already highlighted and just starting to farm that way and missing the entire step of calculations. Which is so huge, because everybody thinks they're just dumping money into postcards and never getting a return, and it maybe takes 2 or 3 years to get something. Where if you actually do the math and you see who else is in your territory, you can avoid certain places, pick new ones. It's worth sitting down for a day or even a couple days to really get that neighborhood right, and then start hitting it, I think.
For sure. So, let's see. I know. Let's open it up for Q&A, and then Yolita said she wishes I shared some marketing pieces. If you let me just run over there, I will definitely grab some if you like. I'm in my office, and they are in my office. So I will grab you some, no problem. Let's see, where do you suggest that we look for postcard examples? Again, I'll show you some. If we're not Canva experts, do you ever co-brand with lenders? So, Russ, do you ever co-brand with agents? I will give you my 2 cents. I love my lender partners. Obviously, this is why I'm sitting here with Russ, right? Lender partners in our world are super, super important. Lender partners are also a big pain in the butt a little bit when it comes to mailer marketing because they are very regulated. So as long as you are having a conversation with your lender partner, because if you put their stuff on there, remind me what you need to have. You need to have your logo and like your equal housing.
Yeah, NMLS number. We can't talk about rates, things like that. It's best to just keep it vague.
Yeah. So, just be very clear with your lender partner of what you're intending to do. And I think it can be a great relationship. Okay. You just really need to make sure that you are aware of all the things that need to happen in the lending world, because obviously financing and, it's a little stricter than what we are. But I'll let you talk about that for just a second. I'm going to run and grab my postcards.
But yeah. I think co-branding is an option. I think I'm looking at the list Carla's on here. So I know Carla Garcia and I did a postcard or two last year, but not like this. It wasn't really a farming thing. We didn't really plan it like that. But I think if you take that idea and put it into practice, it could work very well with partnering with a lender. And then you can share costs. You can do 50-50. And I think, through our marketing system, through Princeton Mortgage, if we do the printing through our whole system, which sometimes could be more expensive, but we do like an 85-15 split, where the lender pays the 85. But, it kind of depends on your marketing and what your plan is. Because if you're doing, 6 months to a year or maybe a few years worth of farming, you may just want to do it yourself, because then you can control that, especially if you're creating it in Canva. So it really just depends on your overall goal. And I did put it in the comments. I know Janine added a Canva training to her list of webinars that she does.
Yes.
So.
Yes, because the need was there. And let's see, let me take out. So some of the ones, and I'm not talking about, just listed, just sold. So those are, like I said, gravy. And Russ said he has bought a couple of my books. So, again, somebody will be able to read it. If not, it's also available on Amazon. Prime delivery. I don't know what we would do without Prime. But so, for example, this one was one I sent. Let me see if I can stop that chair. Make myself a little bigger. All right. So this one here, for example, was Meet the Easter Bunny one, right? I partnered with a local photographer, and we've just done a, get a free bunny picture. So that one was easy enough to do. Nothing crazy there. Everybody always asks what's on the back. You see my attorney is actually partnered with me on that one. And not only did I get to send this one, now I also got to save on cost. So that was one of them. Fire Prevention Month in October. We've done a free smoke detector with every listing appointment. And no, you do not have to sell your house in order to get it. You just have to sit down with me. Again, free smoke detector, nothing crazy there. There's a painting guide that we've released that we've offered them for Valentine's Day. That's our second year Easter Bunny mailer. It kind of turned out to work out pretty well with the colors, especially with everything going on in Ukraine, that, it caught attention. It was unintentional. It just kind of worked out. We've got, that one. So this one here is one of our mailers. I have it available actually for sale inside the hyperlocalagent.com, which is Houses Needed. So if you're considering selling your home in Essex Club, you heard me talk about that earlier. I have a cash buyer looking for a home like yours. Yes, because people in these neighborhoods get mail like this all the time. So, all right, then we got, let's see, mailer. Oh, this one is a really bad one. Oh, well, we'll show you the bad ones too, just so you can see not everything needs to be perfect. This one was, and I say bad just because I did branding pictures, like You see, like, obviously how this one was taken in my bedroom, and I just cropped out the, so if Russ is hiding in his corner right now in his bedroom, this is my marketing picture that I took myself on the selfie timer in my bedroom, cropped out the background and started using it because I just needed something that was not a headshot, because headshots are, in my opinion, very, very awful. And then this one here, obviously updated on that. The number one you can send, in my opinion, is a calendar mailer. So this one is the one I get my highest ROI from, for sure, just because they stick around. This one here is the one that Andrew had sent. If you remember him from earlier, your home holds value, and that's the one that landed him that lead right away. Ooh, a fun one. This one here was purely for shits and giggles, I guess, because COVID, and everybody was kind of stuck home all of a sudden. So we've done a quarantine bingo. And yes, it says on there, watch Tiger King. I still have not watched Tiger King, but if you remember, everybody was, going all crazy on Tiger King. So I do send mailers, and that's the other interesting thing here. How many mailers do you send in 1 year? Last year, I ended with 56,000 mail pieces. And I know, I'm like, I hope I'm going to beat it this year, but we'll see. I really, really like sending mailers. And the reason is I can be at the park. I can do, I got to run my kid to the doctor probably later today. And I can do all of those things because the mailman is doing his job. And if the mailman is sick, then the USPS service has a backup that delivers the mail, because what comes all the time is the mail. No matter if the mailman is sick or not, they find somebody to deliver the mail, regardless of what happens in world circumstances or with algorithm. They will deliver the mail.
I think one of the keys to your success that you haven't really mentioned here is not just mailers, is the follow-up. It's not really just to set it and forget it. Like, some of your mailers maybe are set it and forget it, and they will produce fruit, but you are very much a hyper local agent. You are in your neighborhood shooting live videos. You do community garage sales, stuff like that. You're seen, and you're having conversations, and you're posting about it on social media. So mailers is a huge part of it. It's the main part, but you have to be seen. You have to do the follow-up. They have to know who you are.
Yep, and we're working on an entire event summit, because part of what I do is, full transparency. And my husband still thinks I'm crazy for sharing all of this stuff. But you know what? Let's see, we got 14 people on here. I will not even tell you how many people signed up. I know some will catch the replay and some will never, ever do anything. So, I'm not worried about sharing it. And if I create, another agent that is really doing well with it, that's awesome. Like, I get messages all the time from agents all over the country at this point saying, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And honestly, besides selling houses and helping my buyers and sellers, like, this is a pretty darn good feeling. Like, all of us are in the service industry to service people, right? You ask an agent, well, why do you sell houses? I love helping people. Well, guess what? We all have this service trait, which is why we're service people, not salespeople, right? And it's kind of like the same fulfillment, just like instead of buyers and sellers, I fulfill it now with agents as well, which is really cool.
Abundance, yes. Right? Abundance mindset.
So, but we have an event summit that I'm hoping to get together before the end of the year, because I got over 60 plus neighborhood event ideas written down, ready to go. And I just want to, get it all together. But again, at the same time, I'm still producing. I run a small team in your marketplaces as well. So I'm on the ground with you guys as much as you are, which I think helps to kind of take that. You need to time block and send out, things on a schedule. Like, life doesn't always happen this way. So yeah, awesome. I think we got it all questions answered. And more trainings, again, inside the Hyperlocal Agent. You'll find me in there every Monday for Monday Momentum. And then come back to Russ and beg him for more trainings. And I'm sure we can do something.
Yeah, I think the Canva one will be cool. And then so Melanie asked, where do we find about more trainings from Janine? So part of that would be on your Facebook group, Hyperlocal, correct?
Yeah, everything in the site, the Hyperlocal, is free content. So check it out, or the website, the Hyperlocal Agent.
Perfect. Thank you. You're very welcome.
All right. I think we're good.
Cool. Anybody else going to the Propel event that started 12 minutes ago in Schaumburg?
12 minutes, Russ, let's go. All right.
Well, I'd like to say thank you so much, Deneen. Thank you for including me in this. It's been an honor and a privilege to be able to kind of sit side by side with you and invite realtors and fellow friends and coworkers to learn a huge part of this and to change the idea about mailers and farming. And I think have a positive outlook towards them, because there's the right way to do it. I really think there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. And I think adding this is a ton of value for everybody. So.
Just imagine, like, if we start creating like an army of hyper local agents, and we can just start sharing business of like, oh yeah, you want to go in this subdivision? I can go and talk to Linda over there, and she got the lockdown on that, and now all of a sudden I can have relationships, and I'm just pushing all those brokerages out. I know, great master plan, right? But we can get this agent to agent business back. I think it's kind of important. So. Awesome. That's it. We'll talk to you all later. Have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday. Thanks so much for hanging out. And replay should be up fairly soon after. It might ask you to just put your email and name again for the instant replay, but it'll be instant. So let me work on that.